Hepta. It's not really a word. Well, it is a word because it's the name of this game, but it's really a prefix from the Greek. It means seven, as in heptagon, or heptangular, or heptahedron. Here's an example of heptameter. I'd like to be the sort of friend that you have been to me. I'd like to be the help that you've been always glad to be. I'd like to mean as much to you each minute of the day as you have meant, old friend of mine, to me along the way. Alexander Randolph invented Hepta back in the early 1970s. It has been published in several editions over the years by different companies and called several different names. This one from Poland won their Game of the Year award. It seems to me that this is one of those tinkering around with shapes sort of games. You know, where an inventor tinkers around with different components and pieces and shapes and then suddenly hits on something that might just have promise. The elegance of this one hints at some cosmic holography. Not just the way it fits together, not the colors, it just has some sort of a geometric beauty about it. A 7, of course, is a powerful number, a lucky number, a mystical number. And Hepta sure has plenty of 7s in it. The board, as you can see here, is a 7x7 array of colorful squares. Each player gets 7 shapes here, either the L shape or the rectangular shape. There are 7 small black squares, and there are 7 small colorful squares as well. There are actually 2 games in this box, as it says on the box, a puzzle for 1 and a game for 2. But let's look at the board once more real quickly. You can see that it's got 7 colors distributed upon it. At first it might look kind of random, but in reality no row has color repeated on it. So they are carefully arranged here. And now each of the shapes on the table here are significant depending on whether you're doing the 1-player puzzle or the 2-player game. Here's how to play the 1-player puzzle game. The first step is to choose a random color. We've supplied a set of colored squares to help with this task. Simply shake up the squares and draw one randomly. And that's your color to avoid. Use only the larger tile shapes, not the little black squares. Your challenge is to fit all 14 of these shapes onto the board without covering the squares of your chosen color. And good luck. Some colors are harder to solve than others. It's a math thing. Here are a few solved patterns. You can tell which color has been avoided. It's the only color you can see. There's actually 7 different puzzles because there's 7 different colors, but because of the distribution of those colors on the board, just turn that board 90 degrees and now you've got a new view of that same information. It's quite a teaser. Now let's look at the 2-player game. Now for the 2-player game, the colors on the board are not significant. The challenge here is simply to place as many of your shaped pieces on the board as you can and work kind of a competitive puzzle. And the rules to the 2-player Hepta go like this. You'll use the 7 black squares, the 7 rectangles, and the 7 L shapes. Choose a first player any way you like. That first player places the 7 little square blocking pieces on any 7 boxes of their choice. The second player then chooses which shape they will play, either the straight rectangles or the cornered L shapes. The first player starts the actual play by placing one piece of their shape on any vacant 3-square area of the board. Then the second player follows by placing one of their pieces on any vacant 3-square area. This process continues until no more pieces can be fit onto the board. Now, if only one player can no longer fit their tiles to the open areas, but the other can, that other player can continue alone. When no more pieces can be placed on the board, the winner is the one who's placed the most pieces. Hey, just a quick aside here, folks, about the Hepta. After I got this edited and in the can and ready to publish, I got some information from a fellow in Poland where this game is called Magic 7. He said the two-player game can be played with the color choice as the keep-out boxes on the board instead of using the little black cubes. It seems like a great use for this beautiful colored game board, so why waste that for a two-player game? Just choose a random color, and then that's the color that both of you are going to avoid during the game. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. No, it's not that easy, especially when you're playing against somebody with experience, somebody who's learned to recognize the shapes that aren't placed yet. And you really need to look ahead to watch what your opponent could be doing in future moves so that you can thwart those efforts. Because obviously the L shapes don't fit where the rectangles do, and the rectangles don't fit where the L shapes do. And these little guys can really affect what patterns are available on that board. It's a great game for fans of abstract strategy, especially when they're into the placement of different shapes, like the polyomino type games. Hepta is another great game from the Alex Randolph collection from NewVenture Games. Check the links below to see how you can get a copy of Hepta for yourself. And be sure to let me know what you think of the game. And remember, be sure to play every day.